Have you ever wondered why English learners struggle the most with phrasal verbs, even after years of study? These tiny word combinations act like secret codes, simple on the surface yet powerful enough to completely change meaning. In today's story, you'll uncover how mastering just 50 of the most common phrasal verbs can transform your English from good enough to natural and confident. But here's the twist. It's not about memorizing endless lists. The real secret lies in hearing them in action and daring to use them in your own conversations. Ready to find out how? When most English learners begin their journey, they often imagine that vocabulary means learning long word lists, memorizing grammar rules, and practicing pronunciation. All of that is useful, but at some point, a hidden barrier appears: phrasal verbs. These tiny 2 or 3 word combinations suddenly show up everywhere, in conversations, books, movies, and professional meetings. At first glance, they seem simple. After all, what could be so difficult about bring up or look into? Yet the moment you hear them in real life, they feel like secret codes that native speakers use to communicate quickly and naturally. That mystery is exactly what makes phrasal verbs both frustrating and fascinating. Imagine this scenario. You're at an international business meeting. You prepare your presentation carefully, but suddenly your colleague says, "Let's bring up the new budget issue before we move on." If you don't know that bring up means introduce a topic, you might be lost even though you understand every single word individually. Or picture a casual dinner with friends. Someone jumps into the conversation and another person complains, "Stop butting in!" Without knowledge of these phrases, you risk missing the humor, the emotion, and the flow of the exchange. In other words, phrasal verbs are the invisible thread that holds natural English together. So why are they so tricky? The main reason is that their meaning cannot always be guessed from the individual words. Look up might mean search for information, but look up to means respect someone deeply. Come down with signals the start of an illness, while come down on means to criticize harshly. The particle, up, down, in, out, completely changes the meaning. That unpredictability is exactly why many learners either avoid them or struggle for years. But here's the exciting part. Once you begin to unlock these combinations, your English starts to sound alive, authentic, and flexible. Think of phrasal verbs as secret keys. Each one you learn opens a new door into the language. With get across, you don't just say, "I want to explain." You say, "I need to." In the first part, we uncovered the mystery behind phrasal verbs and why they hold such incredible power in transforming your English. Now let's look at how they shape one of the most vital areas of life: communication. After all, language is not just about words, it's about connection. And phrasal verbs are some of the most effective tools to make your conversations sound authentic, dynamic, and emotionally rich. Think about how many times a day we introduce a topic, explain an idea, interrupt politely, or persuade someone. Native speakers rarely use formal textbook phrases like, "I would like to introduce a subject." Instead, they say, "I'd like to bring up something important." That simple switch immediately signals confidence and natural flow. Bring up may seem small, but in context, it carries weight. It tells your listener, "Pay attention, this is significant." Another perfect example is get across. How many times have you struggled to explain an idea and wondered if your listener really understood? Instead of saying, "I want you to understand," you can say, "I'm trying to get my point across." It's concise, powerful, and exactly what native speakers say. The phrase "get across" captures not just the act of speaking, but the deeper effort of transmitting meaning successfully. It shows that communication is not one way. It's a shared process where you work to make yourself understood. But conversations are not always smooth, are they? Sometimes you need to jump in. Maybe your friend is telling a story and you have something relevant to add. Instead of awkwardly saying, "Can I interrupt?" you can say, "Do you mind if I just jump in?" It's polite, informal, and friendly. A way to show enthusiasm without sounding rude. Compare that with butt in, which also means to interrupt but with a negative tone. "He kept butting in" suggests annoyance or disrespect. The choice between jump in and butt in can change the entire mood of a conversation. And then there's blurt out, a phrasal verb that captures human imperfections so well. We've all been there, saying something without thinking only to regret it a second later. In the last section, we explored how phrasal verbs breathe life into communication, helping us introduce topics, jump into conversations, or persuade others naturally. Now, let's zoom in on one of the most fascinating families of phrasal verbs, those built around the tiny but powerful verb look. It's incredible how a single word, when combined with different particles, can produce such a wide variety of meanings that touch almost every area of life. Take look after, for instance. At first it seems simple. It means to take care of someone or something. But think about the richness it adds. Instead of saying, I will care for my sister's children, you say, I'll look after my sister's kids tonight. The phrase feels warm, natural, and used exactly as native speakers would. It turns a basic act of care into something more personal and relatable. Then there's look down on. This one is all about attitude. It describes the act of believing you're superior to others, often unfairly. Sadly, it's common in society. Some people look down on those without a university degree. The phrase isn't just about seeing. It paints a picture of someone literally placing themselves above others. Using look down on captures that judgmental tone much more vividly than saying they feel superior. Contrast that with look up to. Here the meaning flips entirely. To look up to someone is to admire and respect them deeply. I've always looked up to my grandmother for her wisdom. The upward direction of look mirrors the admiration we feel. With just two opposite particles, down and up, we capture two completely different human emotions, contempt and respect. And the variety doesn't stop there. Look forward to expresses excitement and anticipation. I'm really looking forward to summer. Look for describes the simple act of searching. I'm looking for my keys. Look into is about investigation. We'll look into the issue right away. Each phrase uses look as the root, yet each particle bends the meaning into a new, practical tool for communication. Some forms are even more playful. Look out is a sharp warning. In the last section, we discovered how a single root verb, look, can open countless doors of meaning when paired with different particles. Now let's turn our attention to another equally powerful verb, come. If look helps us see the world, come helps us move through it, arriving, returning, appearing, or facing unexpected changes. And just like before, small particles completely transform its meaning. Take come up. This tiny phrase has multiple lives. It might describe a topic suddenly being mentioned in a conversation. If anything important comes up during the meeting, let me know. It might also describe opportunities. A great job opportunity has just come up. You should apply. And sometimes it signals problems. Something urgent came up, so I had to cancel my plans. One short phrase, three different realities: discussion, opportunity, and challenge. Isn't that fascinating? Then there's come in. On the surface, it means to enter. She knocked and came in quietly. But it also applies to transport. The train comes in at 6 o'clock sharp. Or even to fashion. These shoes come in 3 colors. With come in, we move beyond physical entry to arrival and availability. Subtle shifts that make your English sound alive. Now think about come out. This phrasal verb often describes secrets or truths finally revealed. The truth about the scandal came out in the newspaper. It also describes appearances. After the storm, the sun came out again. And in everyday life, it signals publication. My favorite author's new book comes out next month. Each use shares the same theme of something hidden becoming visible. We can't forget come on, one of the most versatile expressions in English. It can encourage. Come on, you can do it. It can express disbelief. Come on, that's not true. It can even describe machines. The light came on when I flipped the switch. Or sickness. I think I've got a cold coming on. The phrase adapts to mood, urgency, and even health. But come also has its darker tones. Come down on means to punish or criticize harshly. In the previous section, we explored how the word come brings movement, arrival, and change into our conversations. Now, let's finish our journey with one of the most powerful and uplifting particles in English, up. Whenever you see up attached to a verb, it often adds energy, completion, or improvement. It's like a spark that pushes the action higher, stronger, or more complete. Learning these phrasal verbs doesn't just add vocabulary, it teaches you how to sound more decisive, more natural, and more confident. Think first about movement. Pick up is one of the most common. You can pick up a book, pick up a child, or even pick up new skills. It always carries the sense of lifting or acquiring. Similarly, get up means to rise from bed or from a seated position. I have to get up early tomorrow. Even fill up paints a clear picture of bringing something to its full capacity, like filling up your car with fuel or filling up a glass with water. These actions literally move something from a lower state to a higher, fuller one. But up also signals improvement. Cheer up means to feel happier, often after sadness. Cheer up, the weekend is almost here. Dress up means to improve your appearance, usually for a special event. Everyone dressed up for the wedding. And grow up tells the story of progress over time, children becoming adults, experiences shaping maturity. In every case, up pushes things to a higher level. Then we enter the creative world. Cook up and whip up both describe making food quickly, but they can also mean inventing ideas. She cooked up a plan to surprise her friend. Or, he whipped up a quick meal after work. Similarly, dream up means to imagine something unusual or original. The designer dreamed up a bold new concept. And come up with is essential for innovation. He came up with a brilliant solution. Notice how up here lifts ideas from the mind into reality. Of course, life isn't always perfect, so we need phrasal verbs for repair and recovery. Make up with someone means to restore a relationship after conflict. They argued but quickly made up. Patch up